We talked a little bit about your group already in fall camp, Coach James, of just the depth that's being developed. Let's just talk about the leadership within the room of guys like Dewey, the Reeves brothers. There's a lot of guys who have played. Just what do you see of the guys who have played, that have been around, how they continue to set that expectation underneath you?
Just to be honest, the way that they work with everybody, not just about having a vocal leadership, but when somebody makes a mistake in the drill, they pull them to the side, get them right. They make sure the drill is ran correctly. I'm able to break apart the groups and work in smaller pods at times because they're coaching each other constantly. And that's a big kudos to those guys for being with me for years and developing that type of relationship with themselves and then with the new guys coming in.
Even when I look at guys within your room, may not necessarily get a lot of eyeballs to him, but Jake a year ago really was out, kind of, I guess, separated from you guys. And in camp, he's getting a lot of good reps. Seems like he's improved. Guys like Jake who maybe don't have the on-field experience here, where have you seen them grow so far in camp?
One, just mentally, competitively, staying after it. When they have questions, they're not afraid to ask the questions, and they compete. I'm giving everybody a shot. I'm going to put you out there against the ones, the twos, and the threes to see how do you gauge just in the game. As far as corrections, and technique, we'll get those things corrected, but you do have the tenacity to go out there and get after it and do the little things, which is effort, attitude, and having great enthusiasm on the field. And Jake does a phenomenal job with that as well.
You mentioned effort, attitude. How do the Reeves brothers specifically embody that?
A full blown. Caden has no lows so far this camp. He works to get to the ball, but those two guys, man, they come out here. They're so competitive every day. They compete against each other. They compete against the other guys, the O-line. They call each other out when one's not working as hard. They think the one can do better. So it's phenomenal being around and seeing those guys grow and develop from redshirt freshmen to now they're juniors. So.
When you look at that group of like Jamon, who got some good reps last year, Amir got some good reps, Elijah also kind of being in the mix this year, where do you see those guys making that next step of using the little experience they got a year ago to now take a bigger step and be a more reliable piece to your defense?
Big thing is, seeing how they handle games. Jamon and Amir, obviously, they got to play in some games last year. They did a really good job for us. Both of them made some big plays in some big games. Jamon was getting some pressures in the playoffs and such, so it was great that they got that little bit of taste, and I think it made him a little hungrier for this year. Elijah had to sit out last season, couldn't participate, but he's a guy who, since he's been here on campus, has made an impact in every drill he's been in, every team scenario, and us as a coaching staff and the team, we're all excited to see him get out there.
I'm sure you're the one that said, hey, Devin Love's got to get a rep at kick returner today and punt returner. He's just got so much athletic ability. But jokes aside, what do you love just about his personality within the room? And now it's not just his personality. It's just on the field doing a lot of the talking to.
Yeah, he has an infectious personality, and that's just outside the game of football. He's a very great person, great man to be around. People gravitate towards him naturally, and he has a calm sense about himself, so he's able to talk through scenarios with guys who may be a little frustrated at times. And for the record, Coach Grant, our kick return coach, begged for Devin Love to be over there and take that kick return. He's looking for a guy who can make something happen, and he looked over there and seen D Love, and he's seen those hips move and said, that's the guy.
I know I caught up with Dewey after the first day. I won't talk to him today, but just how he it seems like he's probably the clear leader of your room. Just what have you liked from Dewey's perspective, how he's continued to lead here through camp?
Just the maturity, the work ethic every day, being able to pick guys up when we're not doing as great, being able to keep guys up when we are doing great. He's one of those guys, he's kind of bounced around in a lot of positions just to get him on the field early in his career. He's played some nose guard for us. He's played 2-eye, 3-tech, 5, 4-eye. He's been up and down the defensive line, has made plays at all those positions. And so he has a good idea of what it takes at each position to be successful. And he's able to reach out to those young guys and even some of the older guys who maybe they mess up with a bad step or something like that, and he's able to get on them and help them get that corrected.
I don't want to say it's surprisingly when you look at this guy and you see how many games he's played, but Lewis Wilbert's another guy who's got a lot of experience for you. What do you expect from a guy like Lewis this year and kind of the next step for him, and also just continuing what he's been able to show you through the years?
Love Lewis, love his work ethic, the way he plays the game. He's developed so much as a defensive lineman, obviously transitioning from linebacker a year ago into defensive end. It's a big transition for a guy, but he accepted it, embraced it. He's a very intelligent young man, so he picked up the playbook pretty fast, and we've tweaked his techniques and his stance some to help him out a lot so he can be more explosive through. I'm excited to see what Lewis Wilbert does this year. He's a good young man. He deserves to have a good season.
How improved is Xander in terms of improving his voice at practice to get that deep voice to make sure guys know when drills are about to start, when they can go? How much improvement have you seen from Xander through the year?
Well, we've seen some big improvement. You know, he had a smaller voice, and then he started getting a bigger voice and yelling his goals and set hits and stuff. So he'll keep developing. He'll continue to develop hopefully as his lungs grow a little bigger, and maybe he could be a guy in the future we can rely on.